New proposal. Basically, as you already have seen, this is the spendings plan, and together with the financial controllers, we talked about it and about making it more legally binding. So basically, this is the proposal. This is something we will vote upon, and it says the spending plan, as you saw in the previous slide, has to be followed by the board during the financial year 2022-2023. As you can see, that's from the 1st of August 2022 till the 31st of July 2023. And if there's an unexpected emergency, so for example, if there are IT costs we have to make, that spending will be prioritized above all spendings in the spending plan. So basically, it will move above, and all the other spendings will basically shift down. And yeah, you probably ask yourself, what is an unexpected emergency? The financial controllers will decide on that. So the financial controllers will have to approve if an expense is an unexpected emergency. So that's basically it. I'm not sure if the financial controllers want to say anything. We agree on having this proposal. So we're going to have an open voting about it. That's basically it. Any questions about this proposal?
Yeah, any questions? Billion? Do we have someone with microphone duty?
I can shout if you want.
Yes, please. Thanks, Lara.
Hello. Yes. Helen Ergezer from Local Business and Economy. Firstly, guys, thank you for agreeing on something. Solution for this. Secondly, I was going to ask that what will happen when the FC is approved an unexpected emergency? Like, who will still decide which amounts will decrease on the budget? Who will decide on that?
What do you mean?
You need to have some money to spend on the unexpected emergency, and then you need to cut some parts from the budget. But who will be deciding on that in that case?
Basically, we have an unexpected emergency. I see, oh, for example, we need 4,000 euros for IT costs. I say it to the financial controllers, and they check if it makes sense and if it's actually the right amount of money, and if it's an unexpected emergency at all. So.
But where will you get that money? For example, currently you have 700 profit.
Yeah, so basically what will happen, it will go on top of the list. So, for example, let's say there's an emergency, and basically the spending will be done. Let's say it's 3,000 euros, then it will be on top, and then for the next point, plus 3,000 euros, an income of 8,000 euros needs to be reached to do the first one. And then for the next one, 8,500 needs to be reached, and then 10,000 euros needs to be reached, because the unexpected cost was 3,000 euros. So then it basically moves that way.
Senna? Senna? And then we take one question from Hannes.
Senna, Istanbul-Yildiz. My question is overall with the necessity of this proposal, because anyways, when we have any kind of expense, aren't financial controllers approving or disapproving anyways? Like, do we actually need this proposal? I don't really see it, because this also goes to a little bit to the previous discussion when Giuseppe mentioned, but when Max was elected, or he is the Vice President of Finance, and shouldn't he or anyways have the option to follow a spending policy without making it binding? Like, we should be trusting his word, in my opinion. So I'm not sure if this proposal is really needed, because if there's an unexpected emergency, then we anyways need to spend that money anyways. Like, we can't function without the portal or mail server system, and those things will need to be adjusted anyway. So that part, I just don't understand if this proposal is really needed.
It is necessary in a sense, like Max explained earlier. When, for example, there's a 3,000 euro unexpected emergency in IT, it will go on top of the list in the spendings plan, and that means that maybe because of that, the final row in that spending plan could not be realized, so we don't have a loss. If you don't have the proposal, you can still spend that money anyways, and you have a loss. if you understand what I mean.
Okay, Hannes?
Yes. That's Martin LG Darmstadt. I have a question. So if you don't have the 5,000 income because there's no partners or only a little amount, but you have an emergency, how will you react to that? So
Can you talk closer?
if you have like not that many expenses, but you also have an emergency, how will the reaction be? Will it's like you already spent some stuff because you expected there to be like 5,000 euros, and then there were some events. You paid the participation fee, and then in like January there will be an emergency, and you already planned some of the travel costs or some of the participation fees for the time because you expected to have 7,000 euros, and you have like an emergency. I don't understand how you can move it up and then still work with that.
Yeah, it is possible that there will be an emergency and then basically a loss will be made instead of a profit, depending on how much the costs are. So yeah, since we also have a really big buffer, it's possible to basically cover that. So yeah, a loss will be made is the short answer.
Okay, the delegate from Piraeus.
Lachitakis Themis, LG Pires. We are talking about an emergency, but we haven't named what we think it's an emergency. I think this is really important because if we don't do this, everything can be an emergency, and this is not a good tactic, I think.
True, that's why we added the approval by the FC's part. So it's not just going to be board's opinion what is an emergency or not, but a few years back then, portal was lost and externals were asking money because they hacked the system. So there were events ongoing, there were application periods, etc. And that was an emergency because only online platform that a team can use for connecting people is our portal, right? You need it. That's an emergency because you're either gonna fix it or you need to find a different solution. But in either way, there should be an expense. So it's gonna be decided by the board and us, and then in the upcoming council meeting, that's gonna be reported to the council. And for every expense, you of course can ask for changes, and then there needs to be a different solution for that expense.
Milan?
Yeah, now. So, Milan Kakuk, LG Budapest, and my question would be actually, you said if we don't accept this proposal, it will be spent or give out any fall, so in any fall. Because I cannot understand how it was possible before to make, to lose money actually, or how it was never this safety belt that the board and the finance control in the emergency could decide to change the whole budget in the situation, so directly in this situation.
So the question maybe was how it could happen that there was...
How it was before April that...
How was it possible that you could make a loss before?
Yeah.
It is. Because only the board has access to our bank account and so on, and if the financial controllers are not acting upon on time, they can empty the bank account today.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Don't do that, though.
I mean, Lassie did suggest it.
Helen? You can come to us in the break and we can explain if you want.
Helen İzmir Economy. So if this proposal doesn't get accepted, then will your RFCs will still raise the motion that you proposed recently?
Yes.
Okay, then last question there. Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Hello, Efe Umut Ateş, NG Ankara Bilkent. So we will vote on a spending plan to be followed and be legally binding for Max to fulfill. But we also say that if there's an unexpected emergency or, let's say, IT costs, but as we remember, the spending plan was revolving around mostly participation fees and reimbursements. So we are telling that the spending plan, as it was, will not be met if there's an emergency. So why make it legally binding?
I mean, in a more emergency case, first you can never know what the emergency is gonna be because it's unexpected. It can cost €0, right? Like as well. So that we for sure don't know. And what we are trying to ensure is, right now they have a case that they want to spend X amount of money and they are gonna end up with €800. If we don't implement this spending policy, and imagine that IT emergency will cost 10K. They are immediately going to make that amount of loss. But with the spending policy, since they have to ensure that first the IT emergency is going to happen, the other points are going to be dropped. So they wouldn't be having that loss at the end of the day.
Okay, really last question, Edith.
Hello, Elif Yıldırım, Istanbul to you. I just want to have one clarification in general. So Max told that if the, for example, unexpected spending will be happen after March, there might be a loss with this proposal. So with the motion that was raised before is making us not having any loss at the end, right? Yeah, but with this proposal we are going to have loss anyways if the unexpected spending will happen after March, and we don't know it. Is it true?
No, in either cases there can be a loss because it's an unexpected thing. So no matter what we are approving here as council, if there's an emergency, that will be implemented anyways. Okay. So it can happen with the initial proposal or the spending policy included.
But with the other motion, the amount of the opportunity is less. Because with this, we are not decreasing anything right now from the spending.
So that's one thing. Right now, they have approximately around €800 profit according to the proposal. And when we raised our motion, we were expecting 3.5K profit at the end. So there is a profit difference in both cases, yes.
Okay, then really last question.
If I understand it right, it's a question who we can trust. We have voted you as we have elected you as a board, as a controller, and if you want to do this proposal, I request a closed vote for this.
Of course. That's your
Name and local.
Jonathan Püttmann, LG from the South.
Okay, just to summarize, Councillor Slaughter requested a closed vote, if I understood it correctly?
Yes.
For this motion?
Yes.
Okay, so we will not vote upon it now. Yeah? Okay, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so it will be a closed vote, and we need to see where we put it in the voting sessions. But yeah.
And for the trust part, you should never trust anyone but yourself, and you can only trust after they present their realization.
Okay, we don't take further questions. We will come back to you with the voting procedures then. Yeah, so we need to see, because we don't have enough voting sessions anymore for closed voting, so we will see how we do it. That's fine. So thank you for all of you, and applause. Yeah, Claudia and Serhat, we have another motion.
Okay, shall we start, Unicorn? Hello, I am Sarat Vigayantaya, and this is Claudia, and we will propose a motion regarding preventing discrimination against non-IM students in STEAM. To give a very brief introduction, I'm a fourth-year computer science student from Bilkent University, and she will introduce herself and she will get to the next slide.
So, hello, I'm Claudia Kaus. Well, sorry for my voice, it's already bad. But yes, I'm from local group Seville. I'm currently the Academic Development Department Coordinator and I study Mechanical Engineering in 5th year. So, there is a problem. We think there is a problem in STEAM that it says currently, so we know STEAM is made by IM students and for IM students and the offers and the possibilities inside of the network should be focused on this. However, it's a fact that right now we have non-IM students inside of the network, not only because we are not controlling this or we are not like putting some vendors, that can also happen, but also because there are just some local groups that they don't really have an IM program, but it's a possibility to do after their engineering degrees or some other degrees. So the thing is, we understand it should be focused on IM and this should be clear for everyone, but there is the fact that we have non-IM students and that sometimes they get discriminated and some people inside of the network are scared of telling actually what they study and what they do in their daily life because they get a different treat afterwards, also during the A. So, proposal.
So our proposal is that a task group should be created with the interested STEAMers and the 33rd board to work on possible solutions for this problem and present a proposal during 66th CM portal regarding any discrimination towards a student associated with a member of STEAM based on their race, gender, age, religion, disability, or sexual orientation, as well as social and educational status during the General Assembly. As the previous slide mentioned, discrimination cases do occur both in and outside of the GA room, but what happens inside the GA room is much more visible and it's setting an example, and it's much harder to police what goes outside the GA room. So this motion does focus on what happens in GA, in General Assembly. And since we're thinking that this is an inclusive issue, discrimination against non-IM students, we also thought that we could include other categories of discrimination so that we could address the inclusiveness issue in STEAM in General Assembly as a whole. So this proposal is with the goal of creating a task group so that we can work on this, we can make inquiries, we can make researches to see what the degree of the problem is of discrimination in the General Assembly, and then come up with a solution and present it in CM portal. I think, yeah, and we will elaborate in the next slide. If the motion is accepted, then the 33rd STEAM board and Sarat and Claudia, will directly create the task group and will work on finding a solution to present in CM portal, which will cover the current problems of discrimination based on race, gender, age, religion, disability, or sexual orientation, as well as social and educational status during the General Assembly. This is very critical. It's only focusing on what happens in the General Assembly. If the motion is not accepted, no task group will be created and the situation will remain the same. So thank you for listening. Please ask questions because this is a this might be a confusing issue for many people, and like, yeah, we want to address the questions and we want the delegates to understand what they're voting on. So yeah, thank you for listening.
Thank you, Paul.
Sir, I just wanted to close saying that remind you that one of the values of STEAM is embracing diversity, and as mentioned before, yeah, it's for IM, but also STEAM is gaining a lot of improves because of having non-IM students sometimes. So that's it.
Yes, I just have a small clarification. So currently there is already some work being done on discrimination in STEAM. So there is SERC, the Social and Environmental Responsibility Committee, that is responsible to address topics like this. and we are developing the code of conduct as it was presented on the first day. And the code of conduct in the long term aims to include other topics such as discrimination. We just didn't include it in the draft because yeah, we didn't have time to come up with all the things that can be put in the code of conduct. So in practice, like if you want to work on this topic, you can join these projects and work on it. We don't really need to vote on it, but I understand that you want to raise the motion and give it some visibility and everything, but we don't need to vote on this, like if we are already doing this, and you can just join and help us out.
Can I ask her a question then?
Yeah.
Do you foresee this this code of conduct including discrimination against non-IM students?
We are planning to include discrimination in general, so it includes, in my opinion, also like all types of discrimination. We are not like, we didn't draft any specific actions yet for specifically in General Assembly, but if you have ideas, yeah, as I said, like, of course, if you join, you can share your ideas with us and it's easier to cooperate and come up with something.
Okay, and my opinion is that this this initiative of code of conduct from CERC will not address the non-IM question sufficiently. So I think we do need to vote on this, and we do need to form a different task group for this. Obviously, that's my opinion. It will be voted, but yeah.
Okay, we have a direct comment there. Sorry, we have a direct comment in the back. Can you give the microphone like to?
Beyza Ovaloğlu, LG Istanbul Boğaziçi. To make a direct comment on Francesca's and Serhat's comments. Yes, CERC is doing research about discrimination in STEAM, and during our latest survey, discrimination based on educational background was also included in the questions. We got, I think, 112 responses, which is not very much considering the amount of people that we have in the network, but there were no like serious concerns about being discriminated based on being a non-IEM student. So I just wanted to clarify that, but if we make a special survey about that to research further on this, maybe we will have more detailed results to work on the issue a bit more. Thank you.
The delegate from Milano now. Take a shot. Yeah. So. Okay. Sorry, delegate from Milano.
Crispy Gasnabal Gdansk. Basically, with this wording of the motion for the task group, that would mean that there is going to be an overlap in work with the things that CERC and board is working on, while also you wanting to cover these things. So the question is like, if what you raised is mainly about the education and status of non-IEM versus non-IEM. So the question is like, if it shouldn't be more coordinated with the board and the committee to actually address what you want to be addressed without like overlapping the work.
Yeah. Okay. This was. Do you want to answer? Because it was a comment.
Was that a question? So
don't use the technical next time, okay?
I would admit that we got a little blindsided about this because nobody told, like, we weren't presented with what Francisca just said, and we told the motion to the board about this, but we didn't know that CERC was working on it, so we are a little blindsided, I would admit. But in terms of overlapping, this is very focused on what happens in the GA, and it has a it has a weight on discrimination against non-IM students. But since we wanted to cover inclusiveness issues, we added the other points as well. But there is overlap. I agree. There's overlap.
Okay, we have two in the background.
Wanted to clarify that it's mainly focused on IM student, like non-IM students' problems.
Guys, please come on up. We have a technical in the back. I think it's Maria.
Yeah, Maria Fansche, LG Darmstadt. Can you please, while people are discussing, open the slide before where the actual proposal is? Because I think it's more valuable than thank you and please ask questions. Thank you.
Okay, now a question finally to Delegate of Milano.
You again? I haven't asked my question.
Okay, thank you. Alex Ferrante from Milan, as you probably understood. So my question actually works either for your proposal from what they're already implementing, from their solution. Basically, when you try to propose this stuff, so when there's, for example, discrimination or people who doesn't have voice in certain environments, I think one of the most important things is feedback, because like, if for example, I don't feel like I have a voice in here because maybe I feel discriminated and I'm scared to speak up. Then, if for example you try to implement something and it doesn't work, I still don't come up with it, right? Because so my question is, what would be your way to actually get feedback from these people? Because if I don't want to speak up because I'm embarrassed or scared, I will still not do it. And you will never know that there's people who still suffer from that. That's my question.
Okay, so I believe that this is the first step of being able to get honest feedback, because at least, even if this motion doesn't pass, we have raised awareness about this in DGA, so I'm hoping that people would feel more encouraged than before. And the second thing, a very critical point is, neither of us are IM students, so if we're leading the initiative, we can have a more honest and direct discussion about this with other non-IM students, and they would feel safe to come out to us. So that would be my answer.
Also, there could be a form with anonymous answers if it's needed.
Next question.
Luke Busquets from LG Barcelona. I'm also not an IEM student and I've never felt discriminated. So can you provide specific examples of situations in which you have been discriminated? That's okay.
I don't want to, because like it will create an
We
argument.
just want to go general because we don't want to like create problems.
Understand.
Then João, next.
João Pissarra, local group Aveiro.
Guys in the back.
Joe, can I make a little comment about what he said? Yes. This shows like we are right now still scared of speaking up. By the way, like, yeah, I am. Like, I don't want to give individual examples about me because I feel like I might be judged. So even if we're standing on the stage, at least personally, I'm still scared.
I can tell, for example, I'm not gonna say names, but I was discriminated by previous boards, not this one or the one before, but the beginning of when I was in the team because of not being an IM student. I'm not saying someone is specific, like no one. It's that person is not here, so.
Okay, we have technicals in the back. Tools.
Eric Bimay from Gothenburg. I think it is really unfair that you guys are laughing. Even if you're laughing at something else, it's obvious that they are taking this very seriously. So don't do that.
Thank you, Eric. Wow.
João Pissarra, local group Aveiro. Don't you think that this will create further division between IM and non-IM students? It will create the mentality of them, us. Besides, it is also it's also difficult to define IM.
The second one is really difficult to address, your latter point. I mean, it's not my job to define what I am or non-IM, but I think STEAM has a specific set of rules, I believe, like for what constitutes IM and non-IM curricula. But regarding your first point, there are cases of discrimination happening in societies, and it's always better to address them. It doesn't necessarily have to create further division, like civil rights movements or stuff like. Shouldn't we done that? Did it cause more division? Because like we have to address if there's a problem. We can't just turn a blind eye, being scared of having more division.
Plus, I also want to add, it could be a problem, maybe, but we don't think so, and it's not our aim with this promotion. If we see that this is creating more discrimination, then we can always stop.
Hannes Martin, LG Darmstadt. I'm not quite sure, you said during the assembly, are you talking about discrimination by the board or another official body of STEAM, or are you talking about discrimination out of the regulations, or discrimination from specific people in like one-to-one conversations? Which kind of discrimination?
It's not about regulation, it's yet how the treatment and behaviors from some STEAMers towards other non-IM. What?
Any
person.
Any person.
Giuseppe? You have a technical or a comment? Yeah, make the comment first.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, this is to everyone, that if someone says they're being discriminated against, usually we don't go around saying that's kind of making a metric for the discrimination. So please, like even if you ask for examples, we're not here to evaluate. So let's listen to what people are saying, even if you don't agree. Thank you.
Giuseppe, local group Calabria. About not saying why you believe you've been discriminated, I completely agree. It's your personal thing, and it may make it complex for people to vote on it without hearing the facts, but sure, I respect it. On the other hand, I believe it could be not completely sure that it is because of being non-IM students, but rather something that may have been personal against you from those people, and they use the non-IM thing as an excuse. And as an example, I am an IT student, or I was, now I left IT, but as an IT student, I've been in every committee of STEAM, delivered around 300 hours of training session, and become the vice president of STEAM as well. So this, by not being I am. So my belief is, I totally trust you when you say you have been discriminated, but I question if it has been because you have been non-IM, because I've not seen example of this kind, but it may have been something personal that some people had against you, and they use this as an excuse, which I can totally understand. But I question if there is actually a discrimination against non-IM, because I've never seen one myself, being a non-IM students, which I've done quite a lot in STEAM.
I can't count how many times I've heard, don't apply for VP of Education if you're non-IM. So it's not a personal thing. I've heard this many times from people. So it's not because I'm Serhat, it's because of my degree.
So I think there's a two from Maria first. Maria was first, and then we take Nicolina and Edith.
Maria Lopez. Okay. I totally agree with Giuseppe, and also Eric is right, laughing is not correct. I would like to say, perhaps before creating a task group which is more strategical and, let's say, operational, would you consider having a survey or something more tangible that you can show to the council meeting? So we can say it's not based on your personal experiences, that might be super valid, I'm not judging that. And then, based on that, we can convince everyone for a task group, perhaps.
The thing is, having the task group to work on that, like the task group would be to find out solutions, survey, do the research within this 6 months until CM report. Like it doesn't have to be a task group that it's going to be an entity, it can be delayed after CM report.
I mean, can that happen through CERC directly?
Okay.
The survey at least?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay, guys, I know there's a lot of questions. We're unfortunately running out of time. That's why for the delegates, do you feel informed enough to vote upon this now? Can you just signal us with your sheets? Can all working groups?
Can you say again what we're voting?
About the proposal which we have on the screen.
Should I read it out loud once?
Yeah.
A task group, if the motion is accepted, a task group should be created with the interested esteemers and the 33rd board to work on possible solutions for this problem and present a proposal during Siam Porto regarding any discrimination towards a student associated with a member of esteem based on their race, gender, age, religion, disability, or sexual orientation, as well as social and educational status during the General Assembly.
Okay, we have a lot of threes there.
If we are voting on the motion right now, I believe this is a very sensitive topic and it should be a blind voting.
Okay, but someone from the delegates needs to request it. You cannot request it, someone of the delegates needs to request it.
I want to raise an amendment to this motion.
Okay. Yeah, come to stage.
Can we also show the esteem vision on the stage? Just to see it for the delegates, because I am not sure all the delegates are aware of the esteem vision right now, that we are the connector of IEM students in esteem.
And that's okay, the guys, you can find this on esteem.org. Feel free if you want to see it. Joanna, amendment. Chris, technical first. Okay, we have some twos there. This is very, very important before we do the amendment.
It's really fast.
Yeah.
I think there is one thing very important. I understand what was told to Sarhat about being non-IEM for VP of Education application. It was told to me 3 years ago, the same statement, do not apply for VP of Education if you are a non-IEM student. Because the position itself requires IEM knowledge to develop the position. So this is not against Sarhat, this is against anyone in esteem, because the position has requirements. Our partners are not even satisfied with bachelor IEM students because they don't have necessarily enough knowledge for the position. So I understand that you might find this not normal or not okay, but without joining this network, you only knew the name of esteem, right? European Students of Industrial Engineering and Management. So you entered esteem while knowing it was the connector of IEM students. We also have BEST for all engineering students. Why didn't you enter BEST, for example, if you wanted to be part of engineering students? Because yes, we might be the minority or not. We never asked any members about this. We do not control how our members are recruiting people. We don't have an IR, we don't have a status about it. We don't interfere with their opinions. I never asked someone what major you are studying. We are all esteemers, and I understand all what is written here, but I cannot relate it with the non-IEM part of verbally you saying, because this is perfect. But how did you connect this with non-IEM side of it? Because I don't see anything with non-IEM.
Okay, we need to cut the discussions now.
I'll have to answer this. So I didn't want to go there, but I have to give an example now, because the question that got to me wasn't, Sarhat, since you're a non-IEM student, do you feel knowledgeable enough? That wasn't the question. The question I got was, after having worked for Academic Development Department for 3 years, being the Academic Days leader, the question I got was, are you going to be passionate enough for IEM? It wasn't knowledge-based. It was strictly just discriminatory. Somebody thought I lacked passion for IEM because I'm non-IEM. And that's not the same as questioning someone's knowledge.
Okay.
Plus, I want to clarify, not every, for example, I couldn't join BEST because it's not in Seville. The only association I could join was STEAM. I wasn't, for example, the bachelor in Seville is different. I could have done IEM. I didn't know at the beginning of my studies, because at the beginning I was going for IEM, then I changed. So, to be honest, if I compare my knowledge about IM and how to apply that after being active 5 years in STEAM, I would say it's higher than a person who is in the second year of IM studies in Seville, because I've been working on that for 5 years actively every day.
Okay, guys, we really don't have time for questions anymore. Let's first take the amendment of Joanna.
Considering that the delegates said that they feel knowledgeable to vote, I would like to propose an amendment that would aim to solve the problem of the overlap with the projects being developed by CERC, described by Francisca and Beisa. So the motion would then be a task force.
Technical?
Get closer, sorry. The motion with the amendment would be a task group should be created with the interested STEAMers and the 33rd board to work on possible solutions for this problem and present a proposal during CM Porto regarding any discrimination towards a student associated with a member of a STEAM based on their educational status during the General Assembly, so that the other topics are covered by the CERC projects and this one will be worked on by this task group.
Okay, delegates, there was an amendment from Joanna. We will vote first upon the amendment. First of all, for the delegates, again, can you just raise your sheets if you feel comfortable with making a decision now? Okay, the majority feels comfortable with it, so we will vote upon it. Voting committee, come in please on stage. So we will first vote on the amendment. The amendment would be, could you read it out loud again, Joanna? Just state that.
The amendment is do I read everything?
Yeah.
Okay, so a task group should be created with the interested STEAMers and the 35th board to work on possible solutions for this problem and present a proposal during CM Porto regarding any discrimination towards a student associated with a member of a STEAM based on their educational status during the General Assembly.
Okay, Danny, very fast, 3.
Like, I'm not completely sure, but I think if there's an amendment, there needs to be a slide as well.
Slide. Okay.
To vote upon.
If it's possible, let's just delete the parts that she...
Can you just copy the slide and then delete out what... Thanks, Danny. So that's an amendment. May I have a very quick 3?
It's written in the second line. For this problem. What is this?
That's included in the background we have in the proposal before. So that's what they presented, basically, that they felt discrimination against non-IM students.
Yes, I know, but it needs to be...
Do you want to have it specified?
Yes, it needs to be written, because this problem, right like this, it cannot be. Because what problem?
I think we can change it to, like, in the amendment, we can delete this problem part and present a proposal regarding any discrimination towards a non-IM student associated with a member of a STEAM.
Can you read it? Okay, that's fine, Never? Is this an amendment? Is this fine, Joanna? Can you check it? Also, Merv in the back. Yeah? Okay, perfect. So we will vote upon this amendment now. We have an open voting as long as no one...
Somebody requested reading. somebody requested that it should be read aloud. I didn't know who, but somebody.
No, but it was Helene. The delegate needs to. Need to request it.
Let me read it out loud once because somebody said. Okay. So, currently, non-IM students associated with a member of esteem can be and are discriminated against on the basis of their field of studies in an unjustified manner, which poisons the environment for them. This is not a desired outcome of discourse in esteem, nor should it be. These cases of discrimination occur both inside and outside the GA room. However, for the sake of setting an example, this motion will focus on what happens during the GA. A task group should be created with the interested esteemers in the 33rd board to work on possible solutions for this problem and present a proposal during Siam Porto regarding any discrimination towards a student associated with a member of esteem based on their educational status during the General Assembly.
Thank you, Zerhat. So please, delegates, cast your vote. Green is for, red against, and yellow abstain. For the amendment, not for the proposal. So we are voting if we want to have the change of the proposal wording. Please raise your sheet really high. Just say it out loud.
The amendment to the proposal is accepted by the council.
Okay, now you can take your sheets down. Now we will vote upon the proposal as it is in the wording you see on the screen. Technically, Giuseppe? Yeah. Behind you.
Hello, Giuseppe G. Calabria. Sorry again for the technical people. But here, if we accept the motion as it is, aren't we, instead of searching and trying to understand if there is discrimination, aren't we accepting that there is 300%? Because it says non-IM students associated with a member of esteem can be and are discriminated against the basis of their field of studying in an unjustified manner. So if you accept the motion, we are saying this exists. While I believe that the intention in the beginning was to analyze if we have an issue and in case propose solutions, which I agree with. But if you accept this, we are saying this exists 300% and it's a fact as it's written right now.
I think that's how we present it. I think the task group is to analyze the severity of the issue, not to see if there is an issue.
So, guys, we really don't have time for any more questions. As long as
no
delegates.
But it's for the voting, man. Yeah. Like if they vote yes now, they are accepting that there is discrimination. It's not an analysis. They say yes, we agree, there is a discrimination, and we want something to be done about it. Instead of let's make a task group and see if we have a problem. It's just. I'm not saying I disagree with it. I'm saying they have to understand what they're voting on.
Okay.
Yeah, this is made clear. Yes, this is our.
That's how it's meant. Okay, that's how it's meant. So, okay, what technical?
Thank you. I think if at least one person feels there is discrimination, then there is.
Okay, thank you. So, delegate, do you have a question or do you want to request blind vote? That's the only thing you can ask.
Blind vote.
Okay, fine. You vote blind on it. Okay, we will vote with the other motion together, blind. So. Any technical question for procedures? We don't have time for discussion anymore. What do you want to say? Yeah. If I know that you don't have a technical. No, we don't have time for discussion anymore. We will put it to the voting sessions. Put the questions on Pigeonhole because it's a blind vote. There's enough time that people can answer it. Okay? No, please no. We don't have time. Okay, please guys go on stage. Thank you. Yeah, big round of applause.
Thank you for listening to us.
Thank you.
Claudia, can you shift Pigeonhole while you're sitting there? Pigeonhole and answer the questions. Okay, perfect. So thank you guys. Yes. Yes, I know. So we're moving on with the agenda, and I open agenda point 37, events in esteem. And we will keep it open and move it to tomorrow. Then I open agenda point 38, activity report. We also keep it open and move it to tomorrow. And I open agenda point 39, opportunities with esteem. And I ask Eric on stage. You can walk fast, Eric.
I am.
Yes.
I am old.
I know. Can Rodrigo and Chris also already come to the front?
Okay, hello everyone. I'm Milica, ambassador of STEAM, and this is
Eric.
another ambassador of STEAM. And today we are going to present you one international event that is going to take place next year.
Or not. Yeah. So, we will tell you what the European Youth Event is. We will tell you our plan of sending steamers to the European Youth Event, and then we will show you a lot of QR codes, so have your phones ready. We start with, let's go with the next slide. Another slide.
Okay.
No.
Okay. So, what is European Youth Event, or I? That is one international event that is organized by European Parliament in 2 years, and it's happening for like 8 years now, since 2014, and the goal of it is to stimulate active citizenship amongst young Europeans, and they are encouraging students of Europe to gather together and to discuss about some important topics about Europe that can improve it. So, as I said, it's happening once in 2 years, and the last one was last year, and the next one is going to happen next year on the 9th and 10th of June, and it's going to take place in Strasbourg, and some of the activities will be also able to be followed online. So, and people who can attend it are the young people from 16 to 20 years old. And the content of the I, you will see later on. There is like the preliminary list of the content which you will be able to see, the topics that will be discussed, and we are planning to send some steamers with us in that event.
Yeah, so the I is our initiative to get STEAM closer to the European Union, and to do so, we want to send in steamers. Our plan is to get by June 2023, a delegation of 15 to 20 steamers that will come with us for this weekend. We will be attending events, we will go into sessions, and we'll be learning about democracy in Europe. On top of that, we will be sending a delegation of 4 people that will hold a session, training session or working group on democracy and our own esteemed values. So we will try to share that in Europe. The participation fee for the event is 0, so the event is completely free. The only fees that may consider you is transportation and accommodation, but we will be making an application to get this covered by the European Union. So the time plan is that right now we are going to recruit, we're going to go to time plan, there we go, time plan. That right now we are going to present for you, so hopefully you guys are interested, will be interested. We will make an application for the training session that we're going to hold at the European Youth Event. Then we're going to go for, in December, we're going to select the participants and we're going to apply for scholarships so that we will get the travel fee and accommodation covered. In February, we will apply for the steamers that we have selected to go to the event, and in June, we will have the event. Yes. Now, we have got all the most information in QR slides because it's of the official on the official website. So please do take your phones and scan the necessary scans. So yes, first we will have the agenda. If you are curious about exactly the topics that are presented, take that one. In short, they are revolving around democracy. It is topics like women equality after COVID. It is topics on student inequalities. So several of those. And then we have got the form for you guys to apply.
Yes, but in that form, that is for us to see how many steamers approximately are interested in the event, If you fill it out, that doesn't necessarily mean that you will for sure go. So scan it, take your time, fill it out.
Also, if you don't scan it now, you can always fill out the form. We'll send it out. This is just to measure your interest in going for European Youth events.
Yes, and you will hear more about it.
Last slide.
And the last one, this is their website where you will be able to see more information about the event and European Union is organizing it.
So to summarize, we are sending steamers to the European Youth event in June 2023. Come with us, it will be a blast.
Thank you for your time.
We have a question together. Can I just wait here in front? Just sit down in the first row.
Alright. Can I ask Rodrigo for the Lean Six Sigma instructor to stage? Technical? Yeah?
Sarat Gülger, are we required to address non-questions on Pigeonhole because there are comments regarding our motion?
No, it's fine.
Okay, thank you.
So good afternoon to all of you guys. My name is Rodrigo and I'm instructor responsible of the Lean Six Sigma Green Belt course at the STEAM Center. And today I'm going to talk a bit all about what is LSS and how to become an LSS instructor. So, firstly, what is Lean Six Sigma? Lean Six Sigma are basically a set of methodologies that combine Six Sigma, which are methodologies and tools to reduce variation within measure and reduce variation within processes, and Lean methodologies that are used to minimize waste and create flow in the processes. And with that, we can make standard work much better and even faster. In STEAM, we look at Lean Six Sigma as a platform to shape the way that Lean Six Sigma impacts IM Europe, with at its core a sustainably expanding, high-quality Green Belt course taught by students and for students, which for me, it's like one of the most valuable parts of the Lean Six Sigma course. So in terms of numbers, in the participants, it's not yet the real number of participants. We are expecting to have more than 200, but there are courses that are still going to happen, and there are some participants that are not yet registered in the database. But we have a maximum number of courses this year, with 20 courses already. 2 of them that are going to happen, one in Aveiro Central Course and one in Aachen Liège. And we also hit a new record of new instructors registered in 2022, with more than half of them having already instructed a course in this year, which are like all of them except for the pink box are the guys that only fill the form to become an instructor, the rest have already instructed. So how can you get the course? Central and regional courses will be promoted on the STEAM portal, and there's like a QR code to the STEAM portal events. And the local courses, you can talk with your LR, or talk with me, or anyone else from the central team, and we'll arrange a way to talk with you, see what will be the best solution in terms of courses for your LG, and then arrange next steps in terms of what will be the best solution for the course. So after you take the course, what is the procedure to become an instructor? First, you fill in the I want to become an instructor form. Then you can apply to instruct at the regional course or central course, or instruct a local course. It's a matter of talking with your LR and trying to organize one, or talking with us. And then tools will be given to you to prepare, such as the instructor preparation Schoology, which is basically standard work for instructors to prepare, the drive, and also other materials. And we also wanted to add an extra point. If you had already the opportunity to see our leaders report on LSS Vasco, it talks about us wanting to implement local mentors in LSS until the end of the year. This was a thing that was already in place, and we want to take it back, but are still figuring out some of the things. It's still work in progress. But if you are interested in becoming a local mentor, and to have news on this, I would suggest to go to the link tree. You have there a WhatsApp group in which we'll post news about it. So basically the local mentor will be the bridge of central STEAM to the local groups in a region or smaller divisions of of a region in order for us to better control local courses, have more opportunities to engage with companies to have certification after the course, have more control over the quality of the courses and instructor expectations and those kinds of things. And questions can be asked through there. And yeah, that's basically it. Thanks a lot, you guys, for listening. And any questions, feel free to approach me.
Just wait in the front. Just wait in the front for like 2 minutes and then finish. Yes?
Will you turn off one?
Yeah, sure. Please start. We don't have time.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Before I start, could I ask all of the STEAM trainers to stand up? All of the trainers, all of the people who delivered sessions as STEAM trainers, people who attended TNTs, MNTs, and if I could ask for a short round of applause for them. Because these are the people who are traveling around for the events, who are delivering their local groups, and who are spending their time to develop others and to develop our network. And I think that being a trainer is a very prestigious position because it gives you a lot of opportunities to make a very direct impact and a very positive impact on the lives of others. So, when it comes to becoming a trainer, first thing, So first of all, it's important to consider why we even consider becoming a trainer. Because for a lot of people it seems like, oh, TNT is such a great event, I heard about that it's like so cool, it's so transformative, it will be great to go there, and it's becoming like a point on the bucket list of things to consider in STEAM. And I think that if you want to just go for an event to laugh and fool around, then TNT is not really a place for you, even though we are laughing and fooling around a bit sometimes. If you want to just become a cool person, then it's also not really a place for you, even we do that a lot. And if you just want to look down all of these non-trainer people and you want just to be one of these people to stand up and receive some extra applause, this is also not a good... Eric will consider this.
Why not?
You do that. Show me the proof. But if you love to learn and develop yourself, if you have a very strong drive to help out and develop others, and if you would like to help in developing STEAMers in STEAM, then there is a place for you in the TNT. Because after 3 years, we finally have a TNT on the portal. So at the end of January, beginning of February, we are finally at a TNT. Here's even proof. For now, the participation fee is 115 euros, what is a rather high amount when it comes to STEAM events, but it's a 6-day-long event, and we are still working on making sure to lower this participation fee as much as possible. On the 21st of November is the application start, so before that we should know the final amount, but at least at this point, when we still don't know if the budget is going to be approved for the board or not, it was impossible to know the final amount, but it will not be higher than 115. And yeah, it's 6 days working, so it's 8 days long event, so there's a lot of stuff happening over there. And these are going to be the trainers. I'd very like to thank Tuncia from ISTEC, who's not here, but Giuseppe and Kayar. So I would like to once again very thank them for their involvement with the whole TNT and making sure that will happen. And there's like a small twist with this TNT. We just have 12 places because of the logistical issues of the local group. But in the past, it was very common that most of the places were going towards more experienced esteemers, towards leaders, boardies, and people who have a higher degree of involvement in the network. And we would like to break this flow a little bit, and we are going to reserve 4 places into a slightly different target of the participant. So first of all, there will be an opportunity in the application form to pledge yourself that if you're going to be chosen as a participant of training new trainers, that you're promised to both see in the network that you are going to deliver 15 hours of training sessions in the year following the TNT. And these 2 places are going to be chosen among only the people who are going to make this pledge. And then also, we believe that it's also important to give some sort of opportunity for the people who might not necessarily have as much chances to prove themselves in STEAM yet. Maybe they just joined the network, but they have a strong drive and a strong motivation. So we would like to pledge to have 2 places for newer STEAMers and who don't have that much experience in the network, to also try to give them the opportunity to develop themselves and also to develop others. And yeah, I hope that I will be able to see a lot of applications. I hope I will be able to see the 12 of maybe you, maybe other people in the Budapest. And there's more TNTs to come after that. We're still finalizing the details, but for now, this is your first shot after 3 years to become a TNT graduate and a trainer this way.
Okay. We unfortunately don't have time for questions, so sorry that I said something wrong to you. So please ask the question all on Pigeonhole, and I asked you 3 to answer on Pigeonhole just because of the motion voting and stuff like that. Yeah, Eric? Can you? Where are the microphone people?
Take this one.
Hello. Yes, we just had one question, actually a good question, and that was whether non-European esteemers can come. And yes, you guys can come because we are going as Esteem. So as part of Esteem, you can come.
Okay. Thank you. Answer the question on Pigeonhole, please. Okay, we will have the voting now for both motions.
Yeah, we need the delegate from Madrid, please, to come to stage right now as soon as possible. We need an email address from you. So please,
because you are voting for Lyon also.
It's for the proxy. For the voting procedure, the ballots will be sent to you in 2 minutes. You have 10 minutes of voting time. In that time, there is a little break. You can discuss the votes among the delegates or with your local group members. Make sure, please, to stay in the room. If you have to go to the toilet, be really quick. We start exactly at 4:15 again.
Yeah, technical, very fast because the voting is starting soon. In the back, Maria?
Maria Fansche, LG Darmstadt. I would like to wait with the vote because there are still questions asked on Pigeonhole which were not referred to yet. And there were many people having open questions during the slot where we had the chance to ask questions, but during the time limit, not everybody had the possibility to. So I would like to ask for the ones who proposed the motion to first answer the questions and then for everyone to make an educated vote on it.
Yeah, okay, Masha, we will move the shared voting to tomorrow. You will still have it in the polls though, I think, because we cannot change it. So just, you can vote upon it, but it will not count, and we will move the voting for tomorrow in the voting session. Okay.
I wanted to comment on that I don't know why, but the internet is not working in the GA room, for, at least for me, so I couldn't answer the question.
Yeah, okay, we move it for tomorrow, the voting for your motion, and then you have enough time to answer, and people can read, okay? Okay, yeah, feel free, you should get a ballot, and as I said, the motion from Serhat and Claudia might be on the ballots, but it's not, okay, it's not in the ballots anymore, so we're just voting on the spending plan motion, okay?
You will receive the email in the next 1-2 minutes.
Okay, feel free to take a break and be sharp 15 after 4 back.
Der skulle jo lave det.